And just like that.
And there we are.
What's good, peoples?
Drew Network.
Man, it's been a minute. We are back in the building.
Yeah, back in the building.
Hello, YouTube.
What's going on?
We are here. We got like this nervous energy. Like we're just like, I have never done this before.
I'm not nervous at all.
I have never done this before.
And I am telling you. See? I'm just trying to get a little.
Yeah, I'm
difference
situated.
right
I'm situated.
Yeah, that's good.
So
Probably crackling in everyone's
how the
ears.
hell are you? Should we hit the?
I'm feeling great.
Do we get the intro out the way early, or do we just? You know what? Without further ado.
Without further ado.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
Drew Network.
Episode 117.
117.
Rest in peace to our Uncle Tony. He would really appreciate this type of introduction. But this one right here is brought to you by none other than Los Beats.
Smooth Jack.
Oh, this is a family affair.
1073.
This is for the grown and sexy, as they call it.
The wave.
40 and up. 40 and up.
Oh, no. Oh.
DVDs of the show will be available afterwards. 3 for $5.
I'm old.
Boy, Los did his thing on this one. That's some good music to come in too. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome
Welcome.
to Stats and Facts. I am your host, Drewski Wooski, the bald and bearded one, and I am sitting here with
The one and only Cleotis.
boy. He got the cleanest bald fade. I told as soon as I seen him, I made sure there wasn't no debris on my hands, and I slapped the shit out of the back of his head.
It's true.
Boy, it's clean. Well, it's a day. It's a day in now. But boy, that clean bald fade deserves to be slapped. What did the 5 fingers say? To the back of the head.
Slap.
Man, Los, I think Los did his thing right. I didn't play this whole thing through because he sent me a lot of music. Shout out to Los Beats.
Shout out to Los
Drew Network.
Beats.
You a fat phase on lie.
Yeah, what it do, man? And that's how we go intro this show. Welcome, everybody. Thank y'all for tapping in with us. I couldn't help it. I was wondering, I said, damn, am I going to bust out laughing the first time I hit that drop? And it almost got you, but I couldn't wait to.
Who is that? Is that Pooh?
Fool. Oh. All right, composure. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 117. 117th time that
117.
we have got together and y'all have sat down on y'all couches or in y'all cars or whatever.
On the toilet.
Sometimes I think about where people watch
On the toilet.
like, my content.
On the toilet. On the toilet.
No, because when I get led to videos that are
Stats
like,
are stats and facts are facts.
I
People
think
watch
when
these
you
things
hit
on the
a certain
toilet.
level of video that's not really on other people's radars, I think you have been on YouTube maybe a little bit too long. But shout out to the people
Drew Network.
that tap in with us.
Wherever you are.
Shout out to Lil Leland. Shout out to Infamous Knowledge. He said he was gonna fall back through, but he's yet to fall through.
All right.
Shout out to you, brother.
Shout out.
Boy, we got a
Until
few.
we get them in.
Yeah, and still shout out.
Then we be shouting in.
Hey, they said it's scrambled eggs, fried chicken. I saw that, and that it's a lot of
I've
little
always
am I
thought those type of
high moments that is like, is that because it's chicken,
And it's fried.
but why does it have to be scrambled? What if over medium egg is still fried?
Those are called fried eggs.
So eggs are,
Fried chicken.
but eggs aren't chicken.
They are.
See, we don't want to start y'all off like that. Speaking of eggs, the tariffs. There's a lot of confusion There's a lot of narratives about this. I feel like this is one of, and when you said what our goal is today, what was to explain exactly what they are. Prior to that, I said, damn, a lot of people do just kind of just talk outside of their neck and just say, oh, this is because of that and that because of this. And it's like nobody really knows. Well, people, I'm not gonna say nobody, but people don't really speak
as a whole,
speak
the
from
masses.
facts.
Yeah.
So Trump's in, things are getting switched around. I will say the first thing, according to or due to his presidency, that I really started watching was the stock market. Mm-hmm. I tapped in. I'm tapped in to SoFi. SoFi, what's good? Maybe we can just shout them out every time because, they're a great company. But I hopped on their app and it's giving me all these little stock options, and I'm able to look at different things, and then I'm going back, and I can just look back a week, I can look back a month, and when Trump came in, there was a buckle from the rest of the world per se, as the investors, the people that kind of like fund this that we just don't really give any credit or credence to, and just what are your thoughts about what all the knowledge that you have? And first, matter of fact, let's start off, if you want to explain to people exactly what tariffs are, so we can just clear that out. What is the
More so what tariffs are meant to do.
what are they meant to do?
A tariff.
Take us away, Tony T.
A tariff is essentially, it is a penalty that you're putting on your own people for not doing something themselves and for getting that thing somewhere else. So if you would like for people to make pickles, but no one wants to make pickles, and you've got all these wonderful pickle fields at home, but you say, no, we want to get our pickles from away from home, then the captain of your home can charge you a fee on any pickle that comes in that's not bought and made at home. So a tariff, again, is a penalty that you're technically putting on your own people for purchasing something away instead of making it in-house. Now, currently, the issue then becomes, can we make said item in-house for a similar price than we've been getting it from away?
I have a question. So even with that in mind, what were some items? If you don't know, then that's fine. Because I'm just from my POV, I'm new to this. But what were some items even under the Biden administration that were tariffed? That were things that he even thought, is this new to just presidents making that call? Or I'm sure there are some things that are. Do you know of any items that have been?
Yes. Well,
Would that be
many of the tariffs,
tobacco maybe?
It could be. I'm not saying it is, but for instance, that's something that would be available to be farmed here. So it would be in our best interest to purchase and make it and purchase it here. So in theory, if that were on a list of tariffed things, it would be a way of saying, hey, why don't you grow your own tobacco? But there are several tariffs that Trump put in even before that were kept and that were beneficial for A, B, and C reasons for getting people to, again, a tariff is to incite your people to make something themselves instead of buying it from away. But if you're in a culture or a society that no longer makes anything, or better yet, if you're in a society that pays your workers so much money that the things that you've purchased from away, where they paid so much less money, and therefore you buy a grape for a penny, whereas here, if we employed Americans to raise and farm a grape, it would be $1. The difference is 100 99
And
pennies.
but what it sounds like is the American people are just not built to sustain their own, the actual stuff that we use because of just how much stuff that we see is not made here. Like I'm pretty sure half of our electronics, our Nikes,
Again,
all of that
and
is
that's only
just
because we want to spend. You want that nice TV, and you only want to spend $400 on it. If that TV were produced in an American factory with people making $27 an hour,
that TV would be $1,300,
that
$1,500.
TV would be $4,000. No, it's not a market of even like yeah. Think of this. In a lot of countries that are being used, their comparison will be like the equivalent of $3, $2, $1 a day or an hour. There is nowhere in the U.S. where those type of numbers exist anywhere close to our minimum wage. So when you think of the average living wage of let's say for instance you want to say $25, all of the jobs that we're talking about, especially things like picking fruits and vegetables, that means each cucumber, instead of it being $1, your one cucumber for $1 that you're currently buying would have to at least be $10, because the person that you used to pay to pick that cucumber, this farm was probably not necessarily most legal situations, but was using migrant workers and may have been giving them $4 an hour. So they've been giving them $3 an hour.
And so even with that in mind, and we're not sitting here as the smartest guys in the room, but even we can just get to a conversation within 8 minutes and realize this is not something that would benefit the people of the United States. You see what I'm saying? So
yeah, it's something that,
do you want to? Speaking from Trump's perspective, does he want to just flex that bad? Is it worth the flex? Stop it. Is it worth the flex? Is it?
The idea though is if you make this.
If you start this right
if you make
now,
this threat, the idea is that hopefully the people who you're going to the opposite side will think, oh my God, what if they make all this stuff there and stop it? Okay, we'll do this and we'll do that, and then he'll lift the tariff.
Oh.
So I think ultimately all of them are intended on being devices that are used to get people outside of America to feel as though, okay, we're going to pick whatever terms that the president said he wanted to be done. We'll go with those terms. But the reality is that now these countries are saying, okay, we'll see your tariff and we'll raise you another. So again, when they put a tariff on American products, it's a penalty to their people. But guess what? Oftentimes their country does make that product and could make it and use it for cheaper. So again, it's a penalty if you already make it. If you don't make something, it's not only just a penalty, but it's a
setback.
It's a setback because you have to start the industry.
Yeah.
And you have to start employing people. And again,
you have to create a workforce that is able to do that. And then
you have to pay them at American fair wages.
At American fair wages,
which is and everyone should get a fair wage in the world, but that means that we would only be able to afford, noodles and rice, and the people who make a lot of money would be able to afford a steak.
Tony, that was the best. That was the best segue ever. What? Just as we was in the gutters together. We've been pork and beans. We've been pot pies for dinner, hot dogs for dinner. Food anxiety is something that is real, and it's real if you got it, it's real, if you've experienced it. But I wanted to take some time to just kind of just unpack this a little bit, kind of like speak from some real truths where this is a like you could be going through it at home and not even know, but this is something that is real. Where do you think it starts from? What do you think, just like from your perspective, and is that something that you deal with?
Well, I think everybody has a level of probable food anxiety or some anxiety over shared social things. It feel like it is like our last conversation was going into. It's sort of like what you're setting, whatever your set is at first. It's hard to switch it up. So, for instance, you're an older brother. That means you were born in an existence where I didn't exist. It means that your first couple of years of receiving love and attention was exclusive. And then all of a sudden in your life, you saw something else come in the world that took away a lot of what you felt was owed to you. So typically, number one, older in sibling groups, the older child will oftentimes show more signs of non-cooperative play in the sense of not they'll be better
Like,
leaders.
this
It's
ain't
harder for them not to be a leader. It's hard for them to be a cooperative player in a team as opposed to just leading a team because again, their whole existence isn't with other people. Now compare that to my whole existence. My whole life, there was always another person there. I never knew life where it was just me and what I wanted. I only knew how to share. Now, it means that not that I will share, it means that I am more likely to be programmed just naturally off of setting to be more agreeable to sharing whatever. Whereas you will be more programmed and more agreeable to getting the biggest piece that will mean more to you throughout your life more than it will mean to me.
There's just with that, there comes an understanding of genetically predisposed understanding that by default, let's just use that word, by default, just because you never ever and by your own, not by your own doing, that's something that you never experienced,
Never experienced.
and you could not experience.
Couldn't experience being and only is like it's a
That's
foreign
crazy,
concept.
and
And even if you were,
and I was about
it
to
was
say,
you were super young.
it was the age gap.
Yeah.
It's 2 years and 4 months. But even at probably like 2 years old, I probably never had the thought like, hey man, like where somebody else is at. But at the same time, I probably was running around like, oh shit, I got this shit. I go from here. I can go in this room. I can go mess with mom.
and not
I can
just
mess
that,
with dad.
A better thing of thinking about it is attention.
Yeah, that's what I said.
You were
I
able to
can
pull,
go from.
no, you were able to pull everyone's undivided attention always, and then instantly came a creature that when it cried, you could be ignored. Because now this is a baby. You got to handle your own stuff sometimes.
Handle your candle.
So it literally can naturally predispose older children, especially the oldest child, to being more anxious about the idea of sharing. So when it comes down to a food anxiety, and this is again more so talking from a stance from people who have always had an abundance, not people who lived in poverty. Their food anxiety is more pronounced and more understandable. We're more so talking about that little variation that happens amongst people in developed lands who have access to food and who never didn't have access to pretty much a nice variety of food.
Our cousin, and I'm not being like funny, but our cousin Dion, he was the first person where I was like, oh, is it's different. Because you know how you get people that be like race to the, like you have a cookout and you be like, oh, that cousin or that person, that auntie always get 1st. That could be that for them. But even it was a point where I lived with Dion, and he was like, yo, like straight up, when I'm in here in the kitchen, I need you just don't be in here. And he said it so respectfully that I understood even then. This is years and years and years ago. Where I'm like, damn, like that, and I can tell where even if somebody else that already knew how he rolled, his sister, his mom, that little 2 minutes where they just taking too long, and it was it was some entitlement with it because when he came in, he was like, okay, this is my time. I don't gotta say nothing. Just y'all disperse. But that little 2 minutes of anxiousness was like, wow, like that really affected him, or just somebody else being there, or just not wanting to bust a move at all. But it's real, and that's even not even in that same setting. But I have my quirks like with food, and then like realizing like, oh, my kids might have it. You know what I'm saying? Like just trying to position it's like, oh man, just have at it. But we still have those little hang-ups that just will not let us just, you know what I'm saying, just be free.
It won't let you have at it. And that's the thing. When it comes to your kids, most of the things that we're talking about for food anxieties are the perceptions of how our parents structured food in our lives. If food is used as a reward, then it's more often that it will be used as something that someone will go sneak and take. Whereas again, if it's always in abundance and we set general parameters, not like, oh, we just have candy out every table and you can get it whenever you. But if we have, a pretty open policy when it comes to our food, then it's more likely that a kid won't use food as the sense of this is a reward. Food is food. It's fuel. And I'm going to need fuel whether I'm happy or sad.
Right.
I'm not using the fuel for those type of reasons. But when we are trained from a young age that, oh, you're going to get the big meal on these special occasions. You're going to be able to do this on this special occasion. Then we start to covet those prized foods. And if someone is just eating them in general, just on a random day, we can start to feel like, what did you do special to earn a Little Debbie? You have to earn a Little Debbie.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, do you?
As a parent, I make sure like that's not even the case. And then a lot of when I'm potting and I'm sitting here and I'm talking to the people, I don't want things to be misconstrued like, oh, I'm doing things better than my parents did. Because there's a conversation that goes with parents these days that I want to get a little bit of understanding from, where it's like, it's the times and this and that and this availabilities and it's jobs and it's wages and it's all these variables that go into it. But I kind of feel, just from my seat, like, because I had an example from them, and it's just like you said, like you don't know that world of being the only one there. Well, until I became one, and I watched the movie of us growing up and how what to do and what not to do, and you just learn through lessons. I think that the parenting, and I think fathers, and I do want to give a shout out to all the dads out there, because I think in my friend circle and just amongst men and just the narratives, I think dads are showing up more.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit heartwarming, because I'm like, damn, like my friends, because I hate when I hear people that say, oh, if you don't take care of your kids, I can't kick it with you, fam. Like, cause that ain't it. Like, we don't have to say shit like that, because we all know rub shoulders with somebody that just ain't doing their thing. But I do want to put some light on that. Just fathers being better fathers in this generation. And like I said, as far as that making this. I went a little left from the little Debbie comment, but it's in that light of we're not gonna do that to our kids. We're gonna try to do it a little bit better, and there's gonna be more things in abundance. You know what I'm saying, and just different, showing them different things.
I think the idea of conscientious parenting is becoming more of a reality for way more people. Whereas I think many of us, we were raised, not to say that our parents were unconscious, but they weren't thinking of a planner of things that they wanted to address, and
No.
that, they were just not to say they were just getting by.
I don't think they
They
sat
were
and
just
talked.
getting-
I don't think they sat and talked. So what do you think about Tony? Yeah, we should probably talk to him about. And what do you think?
Exactly. I
like
think
me.
It's more of the idea of therapy. Back in our time, the idea that someone needed a therapist or needed medication for any mental stability, it felt like, oh no, something's wrong with that person. Whereas we're learning now that, oh no, we all need to talk to somebody. And if things are chemically imbalanced, we might need help to balance things out. This generation is more okay with the idea of that, broaching that conversation
Tony,
without feeling like it's a personal slight on themselves.
and without feeling like it's a personal slight on you, we have to wrap this up, brother.
sure do.
But your conversation is like none other, brother. It's just like this smooth music that we go ahead and
The Drew Network.
we go close y'all out.
Hit the comments up.
Man, talk to us about your food anxieties. Talk to us about, some of your parenting methods that you got from your parents, some things that you learned that not to do. Man, this was a great episode. Shout out to Tony T for falling through. Hey, it has been fun. But it's time for Andrea and Steve Sons to run. Remember, cleanliness travels like defense. Whatever you do to make you feel better, just do it.
And do it till you're satisfied.
What's her name?
Her
Arga?
name is Arden.
Arden. This is Arden. This is the elephant that Ariana is tracking amongst the Serengeti in Africa, right? And what was it? Kipson, a city in Africa. So she has a little tracker on an elephant out there that she's supporting an endangered species. So do your part to support the animals out there.
That's
Good
it.
catch, Pooh.
Have your pet spayed or neutered. I'm Bob Barker.
All right, y'all. It's been fun. Are we still good? Right there.
Probably.
Yep. Man, this was good. All right, y'all. Ariana's letting us know we are still good. So we are going to get up out of here one time with a...
Kill with it.